Hi there and welcome to Ibrox Stadium for your Four Lads Had a Been matchday vlog tonight, Friday night under the lights here at Ibrox. It's Rangers v Celtic Women and a match that we're looking forward to. Kick off approximately 30 minutes or so from now. Thank you for joining us in the vlog. Let us know your comments and your feedback as and when you can. My name's Scotty Paterson. I will talk you through it, hopefully an interesting and entertaining 30 minutes or so. Rangers are looking forward to this, of course. Already beat Celtic at their own patch this season. It's Leanne Crichton's first home match in an old firm here at Ibrox, so something to certainly look forward to. The team line up tonight: Fife, Docherty, Eddie, Pegum, Sabaggio, McCauley, Austin, Berry, Croft, McCleary and Wilkinson. On the bench for Rangers tonight, Ever's daughter, the reserve goalkeeper, Laura Rafferty, back on at the bench again, which is great news. Lafay, Connolly Jackson, Erin O'Brien, Coyle Morrow, O'Donnell and Shinji Kim, some youth in that bench. Again, we know that Leanne Crichton's been forced to sort of use that so far this season. Have done well so far, we have to say. The visitors tonight line up: Rogers, Walsh, Robertson, Gallagher, Smith. Clark is the captain for tonight. Cross, Luke, Noonan, Lawton and McInerney. The substitutes for Celtic: Gay, Richardson, Nakeo, Knox, Mirren Duncan, Dara Duncan and Sienna McGoldrick. We will be back and forward over the next 30 minutes, giving you an update and hopefully looking ahead to a Rangers win tonight. Slight break in play here at Ibrox while Jenna Fife receives some treatment. Remains 1-0 to Celtic. A couple of chances, of course, since Celtic went 1-0 up. Jenna Fife makes a great save 7 minutes in. Fantastic save to tumbling over the bar. And Celtic have indeed another chance to score from the resulting corner. Header goes across the bar. Rangers have looked a little bit disorganised, I think it's safe to say, in first half. They're playing a back four of Austin, Pegram, Eddie and Docherty, and the Celtic press has really been able to play through them. So at the moment you have to say the team from the east end of the city are deservedly in front just now. We have a long way to go at Ibrox, 19 minutes in, and it's 1-0 to Celtic here. Just beyond the 30-minute mark here at Ibrox, it remains Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Not lots to report since we last spoke. Celtic just continue to have a stranglehold on this match tonight. They are being quite comfortable on the ball and off the ball. Very well managed, I would say, as things stand just now. Just as the cross comes in, just over the bar, another chance for Celtic. Celtic have easily, since they went 1-0 up, had 3 or 4 chances to extend the lead. And Rangers not really getting afforded much opportunity to do the same in the other direction. I would say the Celtic goalkeeper Lisa Rogers has had a relatively easy evening so far. Still a while to go, but Rangers definitely need to up their game. Half time just over 10 minutes or so away, and I imagine there will be some stern words in there at half time from Leanne Crichton. She cannot be impressed with what she's seen so far. First real chance of the night for Rangers, and it's kind of fast flowing. Nothing like what we've seen so far from Rangers, I have to say. Fast flowing move for the back. Celtic have a lady, apologies, down in the corner, and the Rangers right back area. And I think the general consensus for the visiting support is that the ball should have went out to allow her to get treatment. Rangers felt otherwise and progressed up the pitch. McCauley played the ball up to Croft, who kept it in, and Croft progresses and plays a ball off to Laura Berry, who knocked it across to Wilkinson, who in turn passed it into Ellie Austin, who'd galloped the full length of the pitch and fired it across goal. And Lisa Rogers, who, as I said, sort of 30 seconds or so ago, has had a relatively quiet evening so far, turned it round the post. Probably the only moment of note for Rangers thus far. And as it stands, as I say, they still are a goal down to the opposition here. Goal here at Ibrox. Rangers have scored 1 each, and I have to say it's a bit against the run of play. As you know, if you've watched, you'll have noted that Celtic have been all over Rangers in this first sort of 30-35 minutes. However, Laura Berry has just stepped up and scored a classic poacher's goal. Ball gets drifted over from, I think it was Mia McCauley rather, who's put the ball across, and there's a bit of a melee in the box. Number 18, Laura Berry. She just falls to Laura Berry, and she's literally about 3 yards out, and she blasts it beyond Lisa Rogers. It is a moment that Rangers need, you have to say, based on how the first halves went. And of course, it changes everything that happens now from now until half time, assuming both teams either maintain their goal either side, or if something else happens between now and that half time whistle. But a big moment for Rangers now, 1 each. And who knows, this could change the game entirely. Happy crowd here at Ibrox. Half time here at Ibrox, it is Rangers 1, Celtic 1, and listen, what a first half it's been. That goal for Laura Berry, the equaliser for Rangers, of course, 7 minutes or so before half time, has completely changed the game. Celtic looked a bit more stodgy, I would say, after that, after being completely dominant for the first 30 minutes or so. Scored in the early minutes, 8 minutes in, sorry, and Jennifer Smith with a close range tap in, and you have to say Jenna Fife really did keep Rangers in it with a couple of good saves, really good saves, one in particular that went over the bar shortly after Smith had the scoring. I think Leanne Crichton were quite disappointed with the way that Rangers looked as far as organisation has been concerned in the first 30 minutes or so, defensively not looking great at all. They've dropped Ceballo back into a 6 role to try and orchestrate things a little bit, and I think that's worked to a degree. The movement of McCauley, I think she'll look for a bit more from her in the second half and maybe try and open up some one-on-ones with Celtic right back. But there's no doubt that that goal just before half-time completely changes whatever it is Leanne Crichton says at half-time to her players. To come back out effectively on a clean slate for the second 45 is something that the players, I think, should embrace. There were shoots that were appearing, as I say, towards the end of this opening 45, and Rangers may just surprise us as yet in that second half. However, Friday night under the lights at Ibrox is 1 each. Half-time substitution for Rangers just as the second half gets underway here at Ibrox tonight. They have taken off Ken Ceballo, and I actually thought was coming into a bit of game at the end of the first half, so maybe an injury, maybe a change of shape, we're not entirely sure yet. We'll keep an eye on that as the half progresses. However, they have brought in Shinji Kim, who looks like she will add a bit more of steel, if you like, to that area in around the centre of the park and certainly just ahead of the defence. So yeah, 1 each, an exciting 45 minutes ahead, no doubt about that. And here's hoping Rangers can get right back into this and maybe get a second goal in the second half, and we can take things from there. 1 each Ibrox, 10 minutes into the second half here at Ibrox, and chances for either side in quick succession. Amy Gallagher has a shot that goes slightly over Jenna Fife's goal, good effort. And then Rangers almost immediately from that break, and it's Maycroft who plays in Mia McCauley. We spoke in the first half, she's not really had much opportunity to get the Celtic right back. She does that, she cuts inside and plays the ball across to Ailey Austin, who in typical form has galloped up the right hand side and strikes the ball with force, but cleared off the line, and Maycroft is there to try and follow up but can't manage. So not much to report in the second half so far. It remains 1 each, and we look for a third goal in the afternoon, potentially a winner. As you can probably tell, Rangers have the lead here at Ibrox. It's Katie Wilkinson with a header. Fantastic. She's a goal machine. She really is. Always finds herself in the correct positions at the right time. Mia McCauley, some great wing play down the left hand side. Knocks the ball across, and Wilkinson gets across her marker really well. Puts Rangers 2-1 up. It was really important that there was going to be a third goal in this game, that it came for Rangers, because we know the damage that we had to endure in the first half and the pressure we had to endure in the first half. However, Rangers, number 44, Katie Wilkinson. There you go. Find themselves 2-1 up, and listen, we are 30 minutes to go, so a bit to go yet. We all know fun games and how they can go, but Rangers incredibly find themselves in the driving seat. 2-1 at the home side. 68 minutes in here at Ibrox, and Rangers miss a chance to go 3-1 up. Great work by Katie Wilkinson, holding them up, reel the ball up really well in the sort of inside right pocket, if you like, lays it off to Ailey Austin, who dinks a lovely ball, and it's wee Jodie McCleary who finds herself centre of the goal, rises above her marker, and heads it off the bar, deflected certainly, but a really good chance for Rangers to get the third of the evening. The match is completely different from what we've seen in the first half. Shin coming on to play just as a sort of marshalling role in front of that defence has been really important. She's managed the job really well so far, and looks a really cultured footballer, you have to say. Rangers still lead 2-1. Wasn't sure I'd be saying that earlier on. 20 minutes on the clock to play. Fourth goal of the evening at Ibrox comes for the away side. Celtic have brought it back to 2 each, and it's Saucer Noonan who scores a goal not too dissimilar from the goal that Laura Berry scored shortly before half time for Rangers to bring them right back into it. A bit of a melee, ball drops inside the 6-yarder, and it just drops to her feet, and she's able to thrash it beyond Jenna Fife. So we are in for an exciting last 18 minutes or so as things stand. 2 each at Ibrox. just moving out the last 10 minutes here at Ibrox. I've just had what I felt looked like from where we set the gap from here. It looked like it could have been a pen. And this guy here tonight, so we'll probably have numerous different angles on it. Hopefully one of them is the right one. And you can see whether it was. It looked like it could have been for me and Leanne. Certainly claimed it'll be something I'll hopefully get the opportunity to ask her post-match. But as we move into 10 minutes, both teams seeking a winner to each. 5 minutes to go here at Rangers. Ibrox and Rangers have the lead, 3-2. Me and McCauley, a really, really good goal. Great work by Shin, who plays a wonderful pass down the inside left flank to McCauley. And as we've seen so often previously with her, she cuts in that right hand side and just has that ability to bend the ball beyond the goalkeeper. She's done that tonight. Special mention to the assist from Shin though. She's been excellent since she came on, really, really good. And Rangers lead 3-2. Going into the last sort of dying embers of the match, I don't know if Celtic have got a third goal in them, to be perfectly honest with you here tonight at Ibrox. As it stands, Rangers are looking good for the 3 points, and you could argue just about deserve it, I think, based on the second half performance. We go on deep into extra time, 4 minutes extra time added on here at Ibrox. Rangers lead 3-2, and yeah, as I said earlier in the vlog, if you had told me earlier on that was going to be something that was going to happen, I would have asked for something that you were having, to be perfectly frank. Rangers, I think, just about deserved it the second half, probably had a bit more pressure. Celtic not been anything like as aggressive as what they were in the first half. And yeah, Leanne Crichton can be really quite happy with players for certainly this second half performance. Certainly, I think she'll have questions, rightly so, over the first half. That opening 30 minutes wasn't good enough. However, now it looks like Rangers are staring down the barrel of an old firm victory at Ibrox. Friday night under the lights, never disappoints. We're going down to speak to Leanne Crichton very shortly. I'm one of the players involved this evening. I hope you enjoyed the vlog. Don't forget to follow us on all your social media channels at 4 Lads Had a Dream. My name's Scott Paterson. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Always enjoy a win at Ibrox, especially in an old firm, so very enjoyable.
When you scored to make it 2-1, did you just have a sense that the narrative of the game had flipped? Like Celtic had enjoyed so much pressure in that opening period, and then it just seemed to disintegrate a bit in the second period?
Yeah, I think we had to change a couple of things. We went in at half time, we knew that, you know, if we pulled together and pushed for, you know, all the things we've worked on in training and capitalised on those things, we knew we'd kind of come out on top, and I think that belief showed tonight.
In a game like that, when you were maybe under pressure from maybe the first half hour or so within the game, how much does the record that you've enjoyed against Celtic for so long play a part psychologically? You know, I think that's now 9 games without defeat against them. You know, is that part of it when you're within the game and you feel under pressure?
To be honest, it's not something that I could say any of us would think about, and we're in the moment. We've got to try and, for me, the most important thing is get the next goal. I think we rode the pressure really well in the first half. We didn't get it perfect, but we kept it at 1-0, which is really important to stay in the game. Got that all important next goal, and then it allowed us to kind of push on from there.
You've obviously played at a pretty high level yourselves down south. When you look at the goal that Mia scored and showed a similar goal against Celtic earlier in the season, is this a player that Scotland can start to be pretty excited about and Rangers can be excited about?
We're already excited about her. She's quality. She's somebody that, you know, has handled the pressure. She's a young player, but when she gets it right, she can be unplayable. But you know, she's got to keep working hard. We're pushing her every day in training to be better, and that's important. But when she comes up with moments like that in a game to win an old firm, we're excited.
You forget sometimes just how young she is, don't you? Still just a teenager.
Yeah, she's young. We've got a young team, but we've also got some very experienced players that are getting their arms around her and showing her the way, hopefully the right way, and pushing her and making her stronger. And it's moments like that you can really see her kind of, you know, you see it in training every week, and she's showing in moments in the games when it matters. So she'll keep working hard, and like I say, she's having a good performance tonight with a great goal, and we'll keep pushing.
Is this a perfect platform for her to play here before then maybe inevitably looking elsewhere and looking down south?
I mean, Rangers is a massive club, so I'm sure a lot of clubs will be looking at a lot of different players. We've got a talented squad. But you know, we're looking at this season, and she's a big player for us. So.
In terms of that result, now draws you level with Celtic, Glasgow City, of course. Still, I think they've got that 6-point advantage and play up at Montrose on Sunday. Is that who's in your sights now, just in terms of trying to tick off the games and pull it back a bit?
If I'm honest with you, we're not focusing on anyone else. We've had a lot of work to do ourselves, and we'll continue just to keep looking at ourselves. We've got to go into every game with a winning mentality, do the job ourselves before we can even look at anybody else.
As a striker, when your team's under the cosh, does it put more pressure on you to know when you get that one chance like you did, you need to score it?
I think, to be fair, the amount of talent we've got in the squad now, you know, I love scoring goals, but the goals are coming from everywhere, chances are coming from everywhere, so you can't play for a big club like Rangers without feeling a little bit of pressure, but that's what I love about the game.
And what was the dressing room like at half time? Because obviously you've been under a lot of pressure early on, got the goal. What was the message from your teammates and the manager?
I mean, for us, you know, we knew that we were under the cosh a little bit. We knew that it wasn't perfect, but we trust each other. We trusted the decisions that the staff were making. We made a few changes throughout the whole game. And you know, in those moments, in that 90-minute game, all you've got to do is believe. So we just round each other, pushing each other, and like I say, have that belief to go and get the 3 points.
And obviously a bit of a bigger crowd here tonight on a Friday night. Did you prefer the Friday night game, or did you prefer the sort of weekend afternoons?
Yeah, Friday night under the lights, it was good. It was a good atmosphere, and yeah, I think preferably, you know, if we can get more fans down on a Friday night, then happy days.
Katie, can I ask, obviously previously when you've been one of the strikers at the club, you've had Rio around and Kirsty around, you're very much the sort of primary striker now. You strike me someone that thrives on having that responsibility. Yeah,
I think, you know, like I said before, I don't mind the pressure, but for me, every day in training you've got to be pushing yourself. Doesn't matter if you're 1 of 2 or 1 of 5, which it, you know, was the case last season. For me, you've got to make yourself better every day for yourself, and as a group of players we are all very good at kind of pushing each other, as are the staff, so I think that helps a lot.
Thank you, brilliant. Thanks, Kate.
Thank you.
All good.
Okay, cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah, just your immediate thoughts on it?
Just really pleased with the 3 points. I think it's a really important one for us, and not because it's against Celtic. I just think the position we're in just now, and every point over the course of the season is really vital. I said it in the build up to the game that I don't think you can allow the teams in front of you to get too far in front. We want to try and stay in the coattails for the most part, be as competitive as we possibly can just now with the challenges that we're faced at this point in the season. So no, I'm really pleased with the character and the commitment to get us over the line.
Did you have a penalty in there as well?
I've not seen it back. I've not seen it back. I did think at the time, you can often tell with the reaction of the players. I'd love to say that our group claimed for everything, but they probably don't claim for enough. So I felt their reaction in that moment probably told me enough, but I'll get a look at it later.
In terms just of the pressure that you were under for the first sort of 30 minutes, 35 minutes in the game, what does it say about resilience within your team that you're able to weather that storm and then come back into it?
They seem to enjoy the resilience part, because they certainly weren't asked to do what they did for the first 30 minutes. No, look, I understand where we are just now in terms of the group and everything that we're trying to achieve, not just in the 90-minute performances but throughout the week. We are really stretched, and I just felt Celtic really started a lot quicker tonight in that opening 10 minutes, put us in the back foot. I think Morgan Cross, and a player that I know really well, the types of problems that she can cause you when her side is aggressive in terms of trying to get the ball forward and find her, and that probably just spooked us a little bit. And then I just felt at moments that in the way that we moved the ball just wasn't good enough, so we're really frustrated with our own performance again. But the character and resilience to weather the storm, we probably rode our luck, and I can be honest enough to say that. At 1-0, but certainly the dynamic of the game changes when you get in at half time and it's 1-1. We had made the change in terms of the shape and looked to try and be agile and adaptable to the game and what was being thrown at us. And I just felt the way we performed in the second half was night and day.
The Celtic were frustrated when Morgan was injured, just in the build-up to that equaliser. What was your take on it?
As in frustration with?
just because like the game hadn't been stopped, like because she was down injured and Quinny was allowed to go in. I thought I saw you and David having a bit of exchange as well on the touchline.
I know that was nothing. That was only to do with the fact that the physio was being delayed in terms of entering the field of play. I think the assistant referee had offered her the opportunity to enter the pitch, and I don't think we stopped the game for a dead leg. I think that's fair. The game played on. So no, there was nothing in terms of the two dugouts.
Obviously it was about 35 minutes when he was kind of kicked back into life, got deeper. What was the spark to change it? Because obviously you were under the cosh a lot early doors. You've not managed to get the minutes before half time, so what was the spark that kept the girls on?
We just changed the shape. We looked at the game and the way the game had been. We changed back to a 3-5-2, reshuffled the pack and looked to try and contain and be a bit more compact and pick our moments to try and stretch the game and get higher up the pitch. So just the shape I think was enough to do that, and calming the players down at times, doing the same thing and trying to push through that is not always the right thing to do. So for us as a staff group, we felt we could roll the dice at that point and use that as an opportunity to try and settle the game, which it probably did.
Obviously the squad stretched really thin, you've got a lot of players playing a lot of minutes. How do you manage them through obviously these big games when there's very little you can change in terms of bodies coming on from the bench?
That is the difficulty. And the players have been first class. I acknowledge that every single day with them. The players that are fit and available are giving us everything on the pitch. The players that are not with us on the pitch are the support network that we need. They're kicking every ball with us. They're very much part of everything that we're doing. So the 90 minutes of football can become testing and challenging, but the reality is tonight we had enough in the squad. The young players that we've brought in and promoted from the 17 just now have been fantastic. The training environment that they've created throughout the week for the players has been excellent. They've come in, they've been super competitive. They've took to it like a duck to water in terms of that changeover and that transition. And then the players tonight, the ones that are on the pitch are quite clearly match fit because they've had a lot of minutes. So that helps. In these types of games, you don't often want to change too much in certain moments. So we were able tonight to do enough to see us through the game.
And having Leah at the back, she's just came back off injury off. How is she getting back to her best again now? She's getting back to some more minutes.
Yep, absolutely. Leah's one that was trying to build in those minutes, and tonight she's come through the game in the full 90 minutes, which is excellent. The last number of weeks she's had a niggle that she's been managing, so we've seen her through that. We've tried to look after her. She was off the pitch yesterday, which was a decision that was made just to try and ensure that she would come through tonight, which she has, and hopefully tomorrow and come Monday we see the group and what's available and how they've come through the performance. There won't be any more that need any sort of injury layoff, but Lee is excellent. I think her recall back into the national team as well for the next window will do the world of good, and for her it's just about building on these minutes now.
And just final one from me, you mentioned before you'd love to have sort of more fans here at Ibrox. Do you think the Friday night game works better, being able to get them down here, because there was an increase in attendance tonight?
Listen, the attendance was excellent. If we could just turn off the rain the next time we have a game at Ibrox, that would be excellent. Maybe we get more folk here. The fans give you the edge. I love it when they're here. I would love there to be thousands more, but the ones that were here tonight gave us absolutely everything, and when it went 2-2, it's the type of game you don't want to lose it if you can kick on and win it, and I felt they injected that energy and gave the players something to really go and get after it, so we're really thankful for that.
Leanne, can I just ask you a wee bit about Mia?
Yeah.
You've obviously played at yourself with real quality players at Glasgow City and at Scotland, but Mia just seems to have that kind of swagger about her that augurs well going forward.
Look, she's a maverick. She's a top footballer in those types of moments that you see from her tonight. We see it every day, and I think Mia's her own worst critic at points, and I think when she susses out what she's really good at and she keeps that and offers that repetition, the world's her oyster in terms of the game. I'm really glad she's here. I'm really glad I'm getting the opportunity to work with her and what she gives to the group. But everybody's pushing in the same type of direction, and you do need those moments at the top end of the pitch, as you do defensive inside the box as well, which I felt the defence tonight. Certain moments weren't perfect, but they stood up to that type of challenge. But I thought the ball from Shinji over the top for me as well, again, it's a moment of magic. So we're really pleased that we've got those types of players at the club. But as I said earlier on, I think every player is giving us everything just now and has got a role in the team, which for me is so pleasing.
Does she remind you of anyone that you've kind of come up against? She just seems quite callous.
I know, no, look, it would be easy to try and compare her up against other Scottish wingers over the years, but she probably has a bit of everything. I think that's what's unique about her and really special. And she's such a quiet kid as well. She's not a huge personality. She gets on with everybody in the group and she really fits in. She's more than forthcoming in terms of player-staff relationships. She'll give you a wee bit, which I don't mind. But no, she goes about her business pretty quietly. And as I say, it's up to me how far she goes in the game, but we'll enjoy her while she's here at Rangers and she's a Rangers player.
A big Rangers fan as well. Do you think sometimes that helps players coming through when they've got that natural affinity with the club? You have you're playing in front of family and friends. It would have been Rangers season tickets and coming along, and it just gives you something, particularly in a game like tonight.
It does, look, and I think there was a few of them tonight and a few in the dressing room that has been the childhood and they've come through the academy system here as well and they've been very much part of it, which is great. You know, that's something that players of my generation experience, so I think for these types of players it's amazing that they're here, they're playing at Ibrox on a Friday night, an old firm fixture with friends and family and a game live on TV. It's a thing of dreams. You know, as I say, I wish it had been about for a lot longer, but let's just hope we can enjoy these players in the reality of the Scottish game and where it is just now and the growth and the development within it.
Leanne, can I ask you, obviously spoke about changing the shape at half time. I just wonder how important the introduction of Shinji was to making that operate properly.
It was to a point, but I still don't think she was where she would have wanted to be tonight. I thought it was a tough game for her to come into. And then we changed for the 4, we went to the 3, and then we flipped back to the 4, at 2-2. So again, we were trying to be supportive of the group and the players that were on there, because at times you are asking an awful lot of the players, and for somebody like Shinji, she's a fantastic footballer. She's got the moments of quality, as I mentioned, in terms of the assist. But it's a tough game to come in when Celtic are as aggressive as they are in the middle of the pitch, and our fluidity just probably wasn't there in certain moments. But she's been working really hard to get back in amongst the group, so I'm just delighted that she was out there tonight. We managed to get good minutes into the legs with her, you know, touched on Leah. Camille were trying to build in her minutes and look after her, pick the right types of moments for her to be in the game and give us that impact. And I thought she came in and allowed us to manage that final part of the game and give us the energy and a bit of quality and game management that we needed.
Last one for me, Laura Berry's an interesting one. She obviously spent a bit of time away on loan, has had to do that for her career, and she came back and she's found herself as part of the first team squad. She's quite a decent mentor for a lot of the 17s that have been promoted and took her goal, classic poacher's goal tonight, but I thought she played well tonight.
Brilliant, and again, Laura was one that within the system, and when the system changes, changing the system probably helps her, because you then go with the 2 strikers and she's in her natural position alongside Wilco, which again, speak about mentors, being alongside Wilco. The reality is just now, for the most part of the season, the early part they were going toe to toe for that number 9 just because of the system. And then tonight we've asked Laura to play off the right, which she's done in occasions now this season, and we're trying to play her off there and still have her close enough to Wilco to affect the game. So she's having to learn as she goes, and it's different being at Rangers and week in, week out, the expectation is to win. For Laura being out on loan, she's had a really good education at Motherwell, and the expectation there is different for her in terms of the battle every week and being able to thrive in that environment. She did that for a really good spell in her career. Now the pressure for her is to be here and to score goals and to be scoring in the big games and the moments that matter. But again, when you speak about players that are fit and training hard and creating the environment and testing us as coaches and wanting more and doing more and living and breathing Rangers, she's one of them.
Brilliant.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Get a weekend off now.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you